Hi all, I'm Cullen Haynes and welcome to Law Live. My next guest is an absolute legend, powerhouse, and timeless gem in the realm of law. 23 years has been practicing and has just rebranded with her fantastic firm, Ready to Boss Legal. Could you please make a warm welcome for my dear friend, Emma Heuston? Emma, great to see you. And it's been a long time since our original story series back in the day.
Yeah, that was when I just started on my own 4 years ago. Yeah, so a
Oh
lot
my
has
goodness.
changed. We've had a pandemic since then.
We have indeed. We have indeed. And tell me, what is happening in your circle of influence right now?
So actually today, and this is, I suppose, breaking social media news because it's
Okay.
only gone to my email list so far. Sent out an email about some changes at Ready to Boss Legal, which are taking effect from the 1st of July. And that is that we are stopping legal services work, and we are becoming a legal template publisher and legal education provider, which is really exciting. I think we've just evolved over the last 4 years, and we're so good at templates that we've sort of done the lawyers out of a job, in that the balance between templates and customized services has been switching, and it's at the point now where it's time to focus on the templates and legal precedents, because we help a lot of lawyers as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I would encourage everyone out there to get onto your website because I did have a bit of a troll through and you have quite a few templates upon templates and it's so easy to use. You've got the little emoji characters above it and like literally any template you can think of is there. So a lot of work's
Yeah,
gone into it.
we have 62 now, and we're developing more of a lawyers only section with business resources as well, to launch from July onwards. So that's going to be an exciting development.
No, very
And you heard it.
exciting for you. That's great
You heard
news.
it. You heard it here first.
You heard it on the Law Live. It's happening, breaking now. And I would,
Yeah.
good point there, Emma. I would suggest people who are tuning in is 4:07 Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you have any burning questions for Emma, we're streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Please put them in the comments. I'll shout you out and I will ask Emma in real time. If it's more legal related or document related, I'm sure Emma would welcome a cheeky DM on LinkedIn, Facebook, or what have you. But nonetheless, this is a question we asked back in the day on the story series. I'd like to ask it again, Emma. If you could explain your life so far using film titles, how would you do that?
I would say the pursuit of happiness. Not
Oh,
necessarily a Will Smith fan, but
no.
I think certainly the last 11 years have been about that. Since my son's been born, we've had a sea change, and I've experienced in remote work, transitioned into this, and this next evolution is part of that, buying back some freedom in my business and day-to-day structure.
And that's important to
So
you, getting
yeah,
back that freedom come from.
yeah, yeah. I have quite an addiction to making earrings and homewares and things, as you can see here, and having that craft time is also, that's my side hustle. So that's important as well. Having that creativity, that does make me happy. Without it, it's a bit of a drudge. So creating templates and creating earrings is my thing. Yeah.
It goes very hand in hand with the Happy Family Lawyer Club. It's got that color scheme, which I'm sure everyone in there would love as well.
It does, yeah. We had an earring stall at the retreat last year, and they went like hotcakes. So
Oh my goodness. I bet they did. I bet they did. And shout out to Clarissa and the team there. In terms of, because when we was chatting, switching gears a little bit, going back in time, when we were talking on the story series, you were the remote expert. And
yes.
now we've rebranded to Ready to Boss Legal. I'd love to ask you, why that change has occurred and why you felt it was maybe necessary to move on or shift gears a little bit to Ready to Boss Legal from the remote expert.
Well, as the short answer is COVID. When I started, so in 2018, I wrote a book called The Tracksuit Economy, and that was sort of talking about my experience as a remote worker, as an employee. And
Yes.
I started the Remote Expert, sort of helping people with remote work issues and questions. And then I think only about 10% of the population did work from home. Come COVID, everyone has to work from home. And now it's just sort of a mainstream thing. So, most things cover it. So it sort of got to, and then this didn't really make sense. People were asking us if we did IT, and, it was always having that conversation explaining what we did. And in reality, our clients are people like me, women with online businesses. That's probably about 95% of our clients.
Okay.
And we were helping them get their documents ready, building those foundations for their business, getting them so they were ready to boss and do the other stuff in their business rather than panic about legals or being exposed to risk. So it sort of got to the point. And I also wanted legal in the name because I was sick of explaining it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so because you were so forward thinking back in the day of being the remote expert, it kind of, when it became mainstream, you were getting people that weren't part of your tribe, the IT requests and whatnot. So now it's more in line. And I think it's such a great concept because it's ready to go. It's like a turnkey solution, what you're doing now. It's like literally, you don't even need to customize it. You want a document for, I guess, a new draft agreement. It's ready to go for you and people can just get it.
Exactly. And I mean, now until the 30th of June, we are still doing the legal services, customizing some of that. But come 30th of June, we're going to have a panel of referral lawyers that we're going to be sending that work to. So we'll still have that. It just won't be me and employees doing that work. It'll be other colleagues in the legal fraternity who don't do templates, who just do legal services. So in a way, we're both, they're getting the best of both worlds, really.
I think so. And you focus on what you're really passionate about. And I read on the website that you are passionate about templates and getting that right. And if you do that well, the other referral partners can service those clients who need that customizable work. So I think it's a good strategy. So everyone, get in contact now if you want customizable work, is the message, before the 30th of June, because it's going to be switched off from that date.
And we're getting a bit of a list together. So once we're full in terms of what we can service, some of our referral partners might be getting referrals before then if we fill up.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. And on the note of Ready to Boss, what does that mean to you?
It means that, and it's really interesting because when we got our latest illustrations done in the colors, I had to give the illustrator who does all our illustrations direction. And I had to say, what does being a boss mean to you? And I had to, and it wasn't just, I mean, we've got things like sunglasses and iPad, just the way it looks. But I think it's actually more a peace of mind thing, that you're ready to go. We're just having a boy come to get his water bottle here.
That's all right. Welcome.
Go. Oh no, he's running spikes. I'm at Little Athletics training everyone. So yeah, it's a state of mind. It's about being in control of things, not burying your head in the sand, and ready to make those important decisions. And I sort of look at it like building a house, making sure the foundations are just correct and stable. And that's where we make people ready to boss, so they can go on and run the business, make money, but know those foundations are stable.
Fair enough. And I think what you were saying is leading entrepreneurs with online businesses are your main demographic. Would you say there's a certain size or type of client that you're seeing repeatedly come in to use your templates area of the business at the moment?
We have all types. We have startup. We also have really established businesses who are doing something else. So they might be entering into a collaboration with another business partner and they need to document that. Or they might have created an online course and they want terms and conditions for that. And they know they've used us in the past, probably even used us for customized work, or they've been referred and they know they can understand what we do, that it's easy to read, and they will come back and be repeat customers, which is really
Fantastic.
great.
That is great, actually. That is great. And where do you find the time to do your side hustles, like your jewelry and your homework side hustle? Because you're so busy with everything with Ready to Boss. And I think there's another thing by Law and Assist online as well. There's some other things that you're doing too.
Yeah. Well, our templates are going on a platform called Law Assist Online, which is going live later this year, and that's a premium marketplace for lawyers with resources. If you follow along, we've got there's an Instagram account. If you follow along, you'll see some updates as that comes to life.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my secret is working from home and keeping things local as well. We try and keep everything within our local area, from doctors to shopping. Instead of driving an hour to a shop, try and get that online if we need to. So that's really important, and just having a good team has been handy. We'll soon be saying goodbye to our lawyer at the end of next month. But my office manager, Carmen, will be there. We'll have a team that won't need as many people hours. And the great thing with the templates is we can build them, but then 1,000 people could come and use them. It can make a bigger impact in terms of people that can use them, rather than doing a job for one client and then that's the only person that can use them. So that's really great. I find, and particularly in the last 12 months since the COVID grants have dried up, that small business space, which is our niche, we've just seen it tightening up as the inflation goes up. And you would know in your industry, 11 interest rate rises now in the last year. It's just been, we've been getting more customized requests for small tweaks to contracts instead of getting a whole new contract set. So we've just noticed that tightening up and that reliance more on templates, which, yes, are you better getting a customized document? In a perfect world, yes, but it's a bit like getting a tailored suit. Most of us shop clothes off the rack, and there are varying sorts of quality in those clothes. And then you could go and get a tailored suit, which you might do for your wedding dress or something like that.
Yes.
But
yes.
For the most part, clothes off the rack work, and certainly it's better than running around with no clothes on, having clothes. So and that's the option when people talk about templates or precedents being not as great. Well, what's the alternative? These people might be running around without any legal protection. So it's a bit of a gradual curve there.
Of course. So couture or made to fit may not be the best when off the rack is just as good and serves the purpose. I like that strategy there, Emma. I think you've articulated it very well, talking about fashion, darling. So I think that's awesome that we've linked it to that. What would you like to see change in law?
I would like to see, actually, I wrote some notes, and I'm just going to have a quick look.
We did give Emma the questions in advance, guys, so there's no theatre here. Come on.
Yep, transparent. I don't have a poker face, that's for sure.
No.
I would like to see it be more accessible to small business.
Okay.
And this is why we developed the templates, in that, to make that more accessible. because it wasn't. There was your rich sort of top tier people with in-house counsel using big firms. Then you've got your boutique, and there's a bit of a missing middle there, which we tend to service. I'd also like to see advice be more accessible. You're not using Latin terms so much when we can use simple language. That's one of my passions.
Yes, jurisprudence and all that wonderful thing that I hear all the time. It's just making it easy to understand. I think someone in the American Senate, when they were quizzing, it was a couple of years ago when they were quizzing Mark Zuckerberg, they said, if your terms and conditions weren't written in Swahili, then people would understand what they're getting into. And I think we've come a long way, but I get what you're saying. It can be made a little bit easier to the layperson for sure, and more accessible.
It can, yeah, more accessible in terms of language, price point. It's sort of trying to, and I think in the past the profession has held, and it needs to be held to a higher standard, but at the same time, it should be for everyone, not that. And certainly I know in 1999, I was finishing up at uni, last century. and I was, I wasn't applying to the big six firms, but quite a few people in my year were, my law school, and they were all getting pretty similar marks at law school.
I think we've got a...
You're back.
Yes.
Well, I'm back. Yeah, someone tried to call me. Rude.
No, please. They're probably saying you're doing a great job and they can't wait to hear the rest of this story.
One guy started getting all these interviews, and it turns out he was from King's School, whereas the others were from state schools and various things. And I think that kind of attitude can carry through into firms, and please that more, that sort of class or private school based mindset can carry
that
through
blue-blooded mindset. It's very similar to the Ivy League mindset over in the States. Yes.
Look, and I'm here from Wollumbar High School, grew up on a passion fruit and banana farm, and I've been a lawyer for 23 years. So, that's me, and I'm not going to put on airs and graces.
No, I think you've articulated it very well, Emma. I didn't understand this culture of it's important which school you go to, because I'm a rural boy from Albury-Wodonga, went to Xavier High School, not Xavier College, in Albury. And when I came to Sydney and I started working at Macquarie, I noticed that people were saying, "Oh, what school did you go to?" And I went to King's, and which rugby players do you know? And blah 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 blah. And I realized that it's very much which school you went to. And I don't know. I might do a poll on it. You've inspired me. Does it really matter which school you went to in terms of your future success, and does it give you the edge? I'm not sure. Maybe we're opening up a can of worms.
It's interesting. My actually the best boss I've had, aside from myself, when I worked in Sydney, he was an ex-Riverview boy, and he was really down to earth, great, but his client base were full of ex-Riverview boys as well. And for him, that was a great networking kind of source. And I certainly can see the benefit. And I saw your poll about BNI, and I think your private school networks are probably better than BNI and things. And that's something I don't have a private school network, but I do see it in the profession. Yeah.
Good point. Well, I'll be accrediting you when we do that poll later, probably tomorrow morning. We'll see. Please vote on that, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And young professionals, legal professionals, entrepreneurs, startups tuning in right now, Emma, what would you like them to walk away with? What's one lesson or tidbit you'd like them to carry off from watching this?
Look, I think not to let yourself be pigeonholed and be open to different career paths. Don't let perhaps the big firms come into your uni. Well, that's great. Go and do a clerkship, but also know that There are government roles, there are roles within the Aboriginal Legal Service, there's roles within the regional and rural areas, and they're all great experience. And the other thing I wish I'd been mindful of, because for my first 8 years of practice, I did family law and crime.
Okay.
And I wish I'd been more mindful of vicarious trauma, and I wish my employers had been more mindful of that too. Just you would read and hear some pretty awful things. And when you're
Yes.
admitted as a 23-year-old, dealing with that, and your boss leaves you at the local court and says, I'm off to a school event, you'll be right, just ask someone if you need help. Your first month admitted and you're doing legal aid duty work, dealing with, abuse victim people, sexual abuse crimes and all sorts of things in the list. It is pretty confronting. So I actually think the profession needs to, we get the odd lecture about it in terms of CPDs, but I do think the legal profession needs to be more proactive about it.
Is that a psychology piece or an accidental counselor piece? What do you think that is? If the Law Society was to put that in place, or they were to teach it at uni, what would that course be, or what would that skill set be, do you think there, Emma?
I think it's an ongoing check-in. So, for example, psychologists have to do certain number of hours. So at the moment, lawyers have to do your 10 CLE points, and if you're a specialist, accredited specialist, then you do 20. But that's all legal stuff. This, the psychologists have that they need to have mandatory kind of counselling of their own, or check-ins of their own, to make sure they're doing okay. And I actually saw a piece on Insight last night on empathy fatigue, and that's really what I think I had after 8 years doing crime and family law. I just couldn't, I moved to commercial law, and I've been a lot happier doing that. But even now, I prefer the quiet sort of precedent work as opposed to, dispute work or a lot of client-facing work.
Yeah, it sounds like you were really in the thick of it, because most of my clients are in the commercial law space, and they don't actually understand what family law is, or they think it's like wills and estates or anything like that. They don't realize that it's more heavy than that, and people are going through some raw, hard times.
Oh yeah, they are. And the things you hear, it can be quite confronting. So I think it is important. And being in the country, I had a bit of everything as my base in practice, and that served me well going forward. But I do think it has made me more aware of some of these issues.
Well said, Emma. And rounding off our chat, and we'll come back with some bonus questions. And this is a little bit cathartic and maybe a bit morbid, but I think it's a great question. It makes us think. When all is said and done, and we get to the end of Emma Heuston's life, how would you like to be remembered?
I'd like to be remembered as an innovator and forward thinker, and that I was kind, that I was genuinely a good person.
I think you're already doing that in spades. And anyone that's met you and been around you can agree. We've already got some people that are tuning in. We got Melissa saying, go the regional lawyers, best experience ever, and has a question. If you could suggest something new to manage trauma, what would you suggest? Good final question there, Melissa.
Well, for Melissa, it would be golf regularly, because she's a mad golfer. I know Melissa. For me, it's craft. And I think it's just finding that joy, and something where you can't think. Like sometimes I might do a jigsaw puzzle because I know I can't think of anything else while I'm trying to find the pieces. And I have another lawyer friend who does rock climbing, because they know they're going to fall. If they don't think where they're putting their hand next, they're going to fall. They can't think of work and other things. So it's something that it might be, something crazy like rock climbing, where it's kind of an adrenaline thing where you're like, oh no, I have to think where I'm putting my next thing. So hard physical kind of labor, or just something really different. I mean, some people love exercise or a run and music. It's really what helps you, no, I won't say it's not forget, but what helps you step away and get your brain switched away from work and whatever you've consumed.
Great answer there. And thank you, Melissa, for putting that to Emma. This is a cheeky one from Satish. Do you think clear and well modulated speech is an advantage for a legal professional? I'm getting flashbacks of Rumpole at the Bailey. What are your thoughts on this there, Emma?
I
from
do,
Satish?
and I'm hoping I've got clear and well modulated speech
You are.
in this.
I think that's why Satish is writing that.
Live. It definitely is, but I'll tell you a secret. I have a phone voice and a podcast and a practitioner voice and a normal Emma voice, probably when I'm telling my son to do something. It is. And when you're at university, you sort of think, oh, barristers, these amazing characters. And then when you actually sit through a full trial, a 5-day trial, and you get transcripts, there's lots of ums and ahs, and yes, they are certainly, very great speakers, but everybody falls prey to the ums and the ahs, and maybe isn't as amazing as, a TV script. You see a lawyer on TV talking, it's not all suits.
It's not all suits. And take your profession seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Exactly.
Well, Emma, thank you so much for joining us for this Law Live. Where can people catch you? Where are you hanging out the most?
Probably Instagram. I don't have a love affair with LinkedIn. It's probably my least used social media platform.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Instagram and my Facebook page. I think most of my clients aren't on there, and I think that's just the difference there. I like Instagram because of the visual side of things. And I have 2 Instagram profiles. I have Ready to Boss Legal and Cute Stuff by Law, which is my earring and homewares and jewelry kind of stuff that I sell on the side. Yeah. So.
Oh, definitely get on that, and I'll put the link in the show notes as well. Cute Stuff by Law, and Ready to Boss Legal. I think that's fantastic. Get it in here, and Satish is saying thank you. Thanks once again there, Emma. We'll bring you back for some bonus questions, but it's been a pleasure to speak to you on Law Live and rehash our story series days from a few years ago.
You too.
Thanks so much, and we'll bring you back. And if you are a legend of law or know someone who would like to be on the show, feel free to flick them my details. We come out every Wednesday, interviewing a powerhouse of law, and we stream it live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and then put it onto our podcasts, Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get them. I will also mention that Law Live and Justice Family Law and Darren Mort and the To Be Loved Network are putting together, and I have already released tickets for a special screening of Tommy, Darren Mort's award-winning movie, which will be broadcast on 19th of June. So be sure to book your tickets. I'll put them in the show notes. It goes from 6 to 9 on the 19th. Tickets are $55, and you'll be raising money for a great cause. So be sure to secure your tickets here, and Darren, Hayder, and myself would be honored to see you there. So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Bye for now. Emma, bringing you back, our first bonus question. If you could give yourself advice at any age, what age would that be, do you think?
I think it would actually be sort of 17-year-old Emma just finishing school. And that would be, it's okay. Just do the thing, have confidence in yourself, and it's going to be okay. It's going to work out. And don't worry about that boy you've had a crush on. You're going to think about him again.
There are more important things, I'm sure.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Oh, fantastic. I think that's all wonderful wisdom we can all take solace in. And thank you so much again for tuning in. Bye for now, everyone. Have a happy Wednesday, and hope Oscar goes well at the athletics.
Yeah, he got into state, so he's pretty happy. So we're off to state cross country next week in Sydney.
Oh, very, very good. Well, good luck to Oscar. Good luck at state. And thanks again there, Emma. And well done on all your successes. I'm so excited for you from June 30. Ready to boss. Let's go.
Yeah, can't wait.